Hello everybody, I'm Chantel and Chris is here joining me.
Yes.
And we are going to talk a little bit about the Christie Lake Spring Fling and Foxwood Open because we didn't get a ton of footage and we were thinking that we probably weren't going to put it out, but then we had so many questions about how Chris did. You guys just love him and want to see him play in a tournament, so we're going to talk about that for you. So the Christie Lake Spring Fling is an A tier and it was Chris's first A tier of the year?
Yes. It's technically my third tournament of the year, but one was in the winter and the other one I wasn't really prepared for and I did terrible. So this was like my first real tournament that I trained for, that I wanted to gain some confidence back with. So my main goal for this tournament was to come out swinging and try to build some confidence back up. Being in Canada, I knew I was going to be around friends and it would be a lot easier to try to shoot a good round.
Yes, and since the way the tee times worked, I could stay with Chris for not all his round, but for a lot of it, so that was kind of nice too because I don't get to watch Chris play a lot. So this was a 2-day tournament and each round had 27 holes, so they kind of condensed it because we had to play 3 rounds.
Yes.
So they condensed it into 2 days, which I actually liked. I'd rather play 27 holes rather than play 2 18-hole rounds because that's a lot. You're asking a lot from me.
Okay, so let's start off. Chantel, how did your tournament go?
So round 1, there's always some nerves, and I think I was throwing pretty well, but I was just nervous and I wasn't throwing as hard as I wanted to. It was a little timid and weak. Early releasing a lot, but I think my putting was pretty decent. My upshots were okay, and the first round went, I don't know how I feel about it. It was a 934 rated round, which is pretty good. It's above my average, but I just left so much out on the table.
For sure.
I know I can score better, closer to an E for that. I should have been getting more birdies. I only got 3 birdies, and there was just a handful of bogeys and 1 double bogey. So overall, I wasn't super happy, but I definitely wanted to get out there and correct the next day and actually throw the disc because it was just coming out weak and early. So that's always bad, especially in the woods. But after the first round, I was sitting tied for first and feeling good for the next round. All right, Chris, so how did your first round go?
Okay, so I was very nervous going into it. Luckily, Chantel was there to caddy for me, and that kind of calmed some of my nerves, I would say, having you there so you could talk me through. And I went in not really knowing what to do. It's so weird when your confidence is completely shot. It's hard to throw, basically. So this first round, I was just trying to shoot above my rating and gain some confidence. So this round, I was able to shoot a +8, which isn't great, but it was a 916, which is 2 points above my rating for the time. So at the beginning, you start off with a bunch of temp holes. I was doing pretty well. I was getting there. I had putts for birdies and stuff. I was missing some of them. Okay, one cool thing I did is I made this sweet putt over a picnic table where I was gonna turbo it.
I was like, maybe don't turbo it.
Yeah, and so I just lobbed it over and I made it, and that felt awesome. That was a cool one. And then once Chantel left me, I don't know what happened, but
his heart was broken.
we got to the tiniest hole on the course, and it always gets me every time we play there just for fun. I ended up taking a 7 on this 231-foot putter shot hole.
Oh, and it's downhill. There's a lot of trees, but he always hits the same tree on the left.
And I hit it. So I smoke that tree, it kicks left, deep in the woods, try to pitch out, end up in another fairway. Easy 7, it sucked. So that kind of rocked me. But then the rest of the round, I kept finding myself not in ideal positions to try to pitch up or try to putt or anything. Nothing was really working out after that. But if I took away that one hole that I took a 7 on, so it was hole 12, if I would have taken that away, that would have been a great round for me. A +4 instead of a +8 would have been amazing. So right there, thinking like that, I was like, wow, I could do this. I can actually shoot a lot better than I did. So that was my game plan going into round 2.
I told him that he should just jump putt off the tee and
Yeah.
take apart because you could jump putt 150 feet off that tee.
Oh, also I was tied for 17th out of 42 people at this point.
That's not bad. For having a pretty bad round and you took a +4 on one hole.
I did make some cool putts.
So round 2 starts and it's pouring rain we were supposed to have a sunny weekend, but of course we just can't get away with one nice weekend for a tournament. So it's pouring rain and I didn't start off very good. I got 2 bogeys. I then kind of pulled it together and strung a couple birdies together, but it was the same thing. I was just a little bit early releasing, not being really confident in my shots. So that's just really frustrating. If you've ever played in a tournament and you just are a little bit scared, it's so hard to get out of your head and just throw the disc like you know how. It's so hard because Chris is now struggling with that, and he used to always be like, just throw it how you, it's too hard. I don't know how.
It's totally different once you're under pressure.
Yes, it is really weird.
Because you feel like you're throwing everything normal, but you aren't.
Yeah. So struggling with that, I was getting a little frustrated because all my throws off the tee were just pretty much garbage, and I was just like pitching up to take my par, and I was bogeying and sometimes double bogeying, just like simple holes that it just shouldn't have happened. So it came down to the last couple holes where I actually got to the green for a birdie and I missed my putt. And then the next hole, I did really good job to getting to the green, and then I missed my putt. And then the last hole I took a par, and that gave me 1 stroke off from the lead.
Yes.
And
1 stroke.
Yeah, I was so bummed just because like I took 2 double bogeys in the last 9 that were just so unnecessary. And that's what did it in. And it's hard looking back and thinking about it because I didn't know the scores. Just like, well, just par the hole. It's a wide open, like, why is it so difficult? But it's just hard when you're in your head at that moment and you can't get out of it.
One of the things Chantal did learn from this tournament was that her upshots were lacking.
Yes, I was having a really hard time getting my upshots to the basket, and I don't know, it was a rough time.
But at least you found like a point that you can work on.
Yes.
And like you identified it. You're just like, I lost this many strokes to upshots.
Yeah, it was too many. It was way too many. Just a simple...
All you needed was 1 more.
Yeah,
to tie it at least.
150 foot upshots would just, I would yank it into a tree or it would just be out of the circle. It was really weird. But so round 2, I shot a +6, 928 rated. I'm not mad at that rating, but I played terrible. So it's nice to know that me playing bad is still over my rating now.
Yeah.
So that gives me a little bit of confidence, and I'm not mad at myself. I took second still. I played over my rating both rounds, and I'm pretty happy with it. How was your second round?
Okay, so my second round, I wanted to come out swinging. I seen the potential from the first round, and that one little tiny hole, that was my main goal. I'm like, I'm parring that hole, at least. At least, no bogey. So I went into it very confident and attacking. Like, trying my best, throwing as hard as I could because it didn't matter. I was in 17th or whatever I said, and I was like, just fight. So I went and I was making some good putts. I was making good throws. They were confident. And the disc was coming out smooth, I felt. And I surprised myself with my distance. Like, I don't know what happened, but magically I can just throw further. And I was keeping up with these guys who I know can mash. So it felt incredible to be able to come out and play better. So we finally got to hole 12, the one that I quad bogeyed the first day. And I stood up there and I'm like, not today. I threw a little putter shot, hit a tree, but I had an easy up to save the par. And I took a par, and right after that I was just like, it's go time. This is gonna be a good round. So I just kept fighting, and I was there for a lot of birdies that like normally I couldn't. And as I was fighting, we finally get to hole 18, which is only 2/3 through this round since it's a larger round, and it starts downpouring. This is when Chantal actually started her round. And right there I was like, oh God, just survive. So fighting through the rain, just trying to do my best. I survived, and I ended up finishing with a +3. So that's a 5-stroke difference from the first day, and it is a 946 rated round, which felt amazing to do. Like, way above my rating, felt great. I left a lot out there too, so there was a lot more potential to actually do a great round. And this was a huge confidence booster for me. My event average was a 931, and I tied for 8th. I've had for 8.
Yeah, top 10 out of 42 players in
Yes.
MA1. And I feel like this is one of the bigger tournaments in Canada where a lot of people come to play because it's such a great course.
Yeah, it felt amazing. Like the last 2 holes, or the last few holes on it, I was just trying to make some jump putts, and I did. I made some sweet jump putts, and it just felt great. And overall, this whole tournament set me up with a lot more confidence in my distance, sidearm, and putting, and I felt so good going into Foxwood.
Not to mention that we both got the exact same rating.
Yeah, somehow we did
931, both of us.
Yeah.
We shot a plus 11.
What are the chances of that?
We have the same game. It's really weird. Like, obviously we do it differently, but we often score very similar.
Yeah, we play together too much.
Okay, so I hope you don't mind, but we're also going to talk about Foxwood Open in this one because I feel like it kind of intertwines a little bit.
For sure.
So Foxwood Open is a big A tier in Canada. It is one of the most important because it has 2 spots for USDGC and also throw pink. There's 2 spots for the females. So this is like really important for us because we don't have many opportunities in Canada to get to throw pink. So I just had the goal to win this tournament. It's the only one that I really, really care about. And it always beats my bottom when I go.
For some reason.
So round 1, super windy, like usual, craziness. And I had the best card ever with my friend Kat and Jess. And it was just really good vibes. So I was shooting really well. I was getting there for so many birdies. Unfortunately, I missed like 5 birdie putts, but I was like banging out my C2 putts. I don't know what it was, but I was just like cashing them in and throwing really well. And it just felt like I was just playing my normal practice round game, like not scared to do anything, full power shots. It was just so good. I had so much fun. I ended up shooting a -1, which was my goal, to go under par for this tournament because
That's huge on this course.
It's a very good score. I shot a 978 rated round, which I'm so happy about, especially because I had 5 birdie putts that I just keep thinking about, like, oh, I could have made those putts. And 3 of them were like close in the circle, like 20 footers. Usually I can make those, but I just wish I would have made those. It would have been an incredible round, but I'm still really happy. And I was like, okay, I know I can get these holes now. Game on, baby. So at this time, I was sitting in first place, just so happy and very, very proud of myself.
Yeah, great way to start the tournament, but I had to outdo her. Me and Chantel were playing the same layout. I was playing an MA1, and I ended up shooting a -3 that day.
2 better than me.
It was a 994 rated round, and it was definitely because of the confidence I gained through Christie Lake. I went out and I felt like I can do this. I can compete with these guys and actually have a chance to win. So after my -3 round, I was in first.
So we're both sitting in first at this time. We were like, what the heck just happened? Chris has always talked about how he feels like he has a slight disadvantage because his distance isn't as good as a lot of the other MA1. And I always tell him, you have sneaky distance. I don't know what is in your brain, but he always thinks like, oh, 350. But now he can reach 400-foot holes basically no problem.
Somehow, like, they're not as scary anymore. And I'm just like, 400? Okay, technically I could get there for a putt.
Yes, you can every time.
Yeah, and it feels really good to be able to do that. So I was leading the tournament for my division after this round.
That's so impressive. Whew. I don't know how, for this style of disc golf and Chris feeling like not super good about his distance, like that just proves to him that just because you can't throw 500 feet doesn't mean that you can't play as well as anybody else.
But let me tell you about the second round.
Oh no.
So I went into the second round feeling like, okay, I'm at the top. All I need to do is play smart, play touchy, and just get there, be safe. Oh, did that bite me in the butt?
Oh yeah.
I did terrible. I ended up shooting a +10, which was a 880 rated round. I found all the OB, didn't make any putts, and I didn't really care. Like, my first round was so good that I was just like, I have it in me. So the second round happened, and I was kind of like, it is what it is. Chantel pointed out that I did look like I was throwing tired, and once I adjusted that halfway through the round, my score increased. You can see on the back nine I only got 2 bogeys, so most of my trouble was found on the front nine. But it didn't really faze me too much, and I was able to go into the third round and have my confidence still there. But how did your second round go?
My second round was also a big hot poopy. I ended up shooting a +6. I was just so in my head. I feel like right when I'm in first place and I have all this time to think about it, I just get so, I don't know what it is, but it's something that I really need to learn to deal with. Like, you're in first place, get over it, you did good, you deserve it. So I just started off really shaky, trying to shake those nerves, not throwing as well as I wanted to, just making really silly mistakes. But luckily my putting was still decent. The putting is getting easier with nerves. It's now throwing off the tee when I'm nervous. It's just like trying to figure that out and balance it out. So I ended up shooting a +6, which was a 913 rated round. And at this point, I was still sitting in first by 1 stroke. So yeah, it was getting tight up at the top, but I was just like, okay, we have to figure out this nerve thing, so tomorrow I can go in fully confident, like round 1, and just tear it up.
Okay, so starting round 3, I was sitting in 9th, and I just went in and thought I was there the first day for so many holes, just attack today. Doesn't matter, nothing matters. Like, just go have fun. And that's what I did. I went and I didn't care. I was just attacking everything. Like, if I had a sight to the basket, I was going for it. Unless it was like a dumb death putt that made no sense to run. And what I found is when I throw aggressively, I park holes better. Like, I'm in the circle or just outside the circle, I have a putt.
Yes, because that's how we practice. We're never just doing touchy, oh, I'm gonna lay up here and be safe. You're always aggressive in your practice rounds. That's how you practice, and you have to throw like that in tournament.
Exactly. So this round actually went amazing. Other than I couldn't sink my putts. I was there for a lot of birdies that I missed. I was there for a lot of jump putts that, I'm telling you, once I dial in my jump putts, everybody's done.
Yeah, he was there in C2 like the whole round.
Yeah, so many holes. And I was able to finish this round with a +1, but that was a 946 rated round, and overall tournament was a 940, which is huge. It was 24 points over my rating, and I was able to take solo 13th, which out of 60 people for this second tournament, huge confidence booster. It was just that second round that was terrible, and I feel like I learned a lot playing in it. Overall, great time. How did your last round go?
So the way this tournament worked out, Chris was teeing off before me, so I would follow him for the first part of his round, and then he would meet me at like the ending of my round. But for round 3, we were being filmed, and they pushed us to the earlier time. So Chris actually got to walk with me at the beginning, and I feel like that just made my nerves so much less. I was just not as panicky, and I felt way more just relaxed and calm with him there, so thank you for always making me feel...
You can see it in her eyes when she wants to panic, and she would just come to me and I would just be like, it's okay. Like, you're doing great. You really are.
I don't know why I get like this. It's so weird. I started off fine. I had a couple bogeys, but I wasn't doing anything terrible. Like, my throwing off the tee was good, my putting was good. There was just a couple mistakes, but other than that, I kept it very clean the last round. I got a couple birdies, a couple bogeys, and I was, the whole time, once Chris left, I was just trying to keep my mind busy and not think about what was happening, because I'm in first place still, and I'm almost trying, not playing match play, but since I don't look at the scores, I'm like, okay, just kind of paying attention to first and second and third place, because if I got first, I get a spot. If I get second, I still get a spot. But I was trying to win. So I was just mentally doing that in my head. And there was a couple times where I was getting a little bit nervous, like when I finally had a putt for birdie or I'm putting for par. There was a couple times where I would get in my head, but I just was thinking about Rob Bailey and his music.
That's so funny.
It's really funny. When we go to a tournament, usually we pump up Rob Bailey.
If you guys
music.
don't know who that is, it's a workout music guy, and I think he's an entrepreneur and stuff.
Anyway, so I thought about that and I made that putt, so. By the end of it, I didn't really know where I was sitting, didn't want to look at the scores. I was gonna play the same game on those last couple holes, because they're really hard. If you're parring, you're getting strokes on everybody. So I actually, the last 2 holes, I just parred out. my little upshot to the little island green on hole 18. I was like, okay, I don't know where I'm sitting, but if I just make this and make my putt, I feel like I'm in a good spot. So I basically park my upshot and I walk up and I look, my friend Kat was on the card before, so she's waiting at the green for me. And I'm like, am I good? I don't know. She's like, you're so good. So I tapped in and I shot a +1, which was a 946, the same as Chris.
The same, we shot the same the last day.
And I took first place by 6 strokes.
6 strokes.
So I'm thinking in my head match play, but I didn't even know I was like, maybe I have like 2, maybe 3 strokes, I don't know. So I'm just really bad at that. But I'm so excited because now we get to go to Throw Pink again.
Yeah.
We get to go play the Winthrop Arena. I played so bad there 2 years ago, so I'm just really excited to get another shot at it.
You're a totally different person now.
I am. I have a new bag. I feel so confident with my Prodigy discs, and I actually know how to throw. Like, I know how to do angles and stuff, and my putting's a lot more confident, so I'm just so excited to get another shot, and I'm just so excited.
We're going to film it all. It's going to be amazing. We can't wait to take you guys along. It's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be so fun. And it's on my birthday weekend. So what better birthday present than to just go play disc golf in North Carolina or South Carolina? South Carolina.
One of the Carolinas.
Okay, so sorry about the long chat about our rounds, but we're always happy to take you along. And I know a lot of you guys wanted to see Chris play. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for your support. And we will see you in the next video. Bye!
Maybe one of these days we'll actually film Chantel caddying for me.
Maybe.
An entire tournament.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky.